Hey, Lit Set, it's Jasmine.
Hey, Lit Set, it's Nikea, and this is Black Girl Lit,
the podcast. We're a podcast now, guys.
Where Black girls are lit,
we get lit,
and we read lit.
This is Black Girl Lit, the podcast. I don't like them orange.
Jazz picking through the Sour Patches.
Yup.
Oh my god. Here we are with the season finale.
With the
season 3.
Season 3. I'm not gonna lie to you kids. Kinda happy this shit's over. Not because I didn't enjoy reading, not because I didn't enjoy spending time with you guys, but this season has been heavy. Mm-hmm. We got too heavy on me.
Hey, yeah. We picked some books there.
Yeah, some books. In our defense, though, we had no clue that 2020 was going to be the year that the Mayans predicted that the world was going to end. So,
right, because we had to practice for the rapture on Sunday in Charlotte. Even though I didn't feel it, but
I didn't feel it. But apparently there was another one. Apparently there was like a 2-point whatever earthquake in Sparta earlier in the morning. Before that one, at like 1 a.m., there was another earthquake. So the rapture, Jesus. Lord, take me now. Well, don't really take me now, but
I hope that was just practice because I'm still here on Earth. Like,
brain,
I messed up somewhere.
Jesus, where did I go wrong?
Right,
sister, sorry.
So we read A Girl Like That by Tanaz Bhathena. It was my choice, and that's all I'm gonna say. So we're gonna get to the check-in. Jazz, how you doing?
You know what? Sis is doing good. Sis is eating Sour Patch Kids. Sis is sipping out of her Black Girl Lit tumbler. That was supposed to be a slurp, but I couldn't really slurp the one like I wanted to.
I feel like you got choked a little bit.
I did. Because you can't really slurp Merlot through a straw.
Oh my God. You know you don't have to use the straw.
I know, but I feel like I do. So I'm doing good. You know, I had a major event in my wedding planning process this weekend. I found my wedding dress, guys. Oh my God.
I was there.
She was. And then we also had a glow stick party, which was everything. Everything. I want to have another one.
I have to put a little clip in the YouTube video.
Yes.
This was ridiculous. Shaking your best.
It was everything.
It will bless your life.
Blessing. But other than that, though, you know, I'm doing good. Doing some life stuff, some uncomfortable growth, unfortunately, in some areas of life. But you know,
that's life.
That's life. But that's it. How you doing, sis? I see you eating. What you eating? Is it some rice and beans?
I'm always eating spicy chicken and rice.
That is spicy.
Mm-hmm. So, how am I doing? I'm doing well. Ready to be out of my parents' house because my mother has implemented a $5 fee whenever you leave dishes in the sink.
What?
Yes. And I'm like, is this a halfway house? Like, it's
in this economy?
We pay rent. She's like, yeah, you leave a fork in the sink, it's $5. I was like, girl, you tripping. I said, Mom, first of all, we didn't talk about this in the family meeting. We didn't vote on it. And it actually makes me feel uncomfortable living here. And she was just like, whatever, bye. And got off the phone. So yeah, I need to get out of this house. Also, I was with Jazz this weekend. That was really fun. You know, made some friends with her friends, you know. So that was really good. And shout out to Kaya Feaster for that bomb summer drink that she made.
She's delicious.
But yeah, other than that, I'm just chilling, hoping that my husband finds a job in North Carolina so we can be outie 2020.
I'm going to say some prayers for y'all. I'm going to start looking for some jobs for EJ because y'all got to get out of there.
Yes. All right. Now let's get into why y'all came here, the podcast, and we're gonna discuss A Girl Like That by Tanaz Bhathena, and I'm going to give you information about the author. All right, y'all, this is straight off of her website. So, Tanaz Bhathena writes books for young adults. Her sophomore novel, The Beauty of the Moment, won the Nautilus Gold Award for Young Adult Fiction and has also been nominated for the Ontario Library Association's White Pine Award. Her acclaimed debut, A Girl Like That, was named a Best Book of the Year by numerous outlets, including The Globe and Mail, 17, and The Times of India. Her latest book, Hunted by the Sky, is the first of a YA fantasy duology set in a world inspired by medieval India, with the sequel Rising Like a Storm releasing on June 22nd, 2021. Her short stories have appeared in various publications, including The Hindu, Blackbird, Witness, and Room. Born in India and raised in Saudi Arabia and Canada, Tanaz lives in Mississauga, Ontario, with her family. Is that
Mississauga.
Mississauga? Mississauga. Wow.
Mississauga. The only reason why I know
Jazz.
that is because I have had 2 jobs where we've had facilities in Mississauga. That's the only reason why I know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, and that's about the author. So no tea. I didn't go look for tea because I was ready to record this episode because it's going up a week late. So here we are.
We are a little late. Forgive us.
Mm-hmm. And full disclosure, before we get into anything else, I did not complete the novel. I skimmed. I'm like 78% done.
Okay. Full disclosure, I also did not complete the novel. I had to switch. So let's keep it a whole band. Okay. As of last night, sis was only about 22% finished. So sis was like, nowhere near. So sis had to switch to an audiobook. Okay. Sis had to get the audio. Sis had to listen to the audiobook. I was gonna try to listen to it on two speed, but that was too fast. So I had to go to 1.5 speed. So,
sometimes 2 is a little too fast.
2 was too fast. So I was listening all last night, and then as soon as I woke up, was listening all day. And anytime I had a breakthrough in my meetings, or even on some of my meetings, AirPods was in, and I was just, I need to finish. I got really close to finishing, and then I didn't because I didn't have enough time. But then I went back and I read the last 2 chapters, so I know how it ends. But yes, this was not. This was not good.
Dad gave me the synopsis on the last 2 chapters, but I'm just gonna blame the pre-wedding events for not being able to finish.
Pre-wedding events.
Just haven't been in the mood to read.
Yeah, and I don't think that's a shade to the book. I just think that's a shade to like life right now. It's just been really difficult to stay motivated to read.
Yeah.
Like
I haven't
really
read any filler books. I have not been reading filler books.
Only filler book I read was the Kiss Quotient, and the only reason I read that is because that was like Asian 50 Shades of Grey, so it was the sex for me.
Now that y'all have heard our disclaimers, but you know, I feel like I got a lot of reading done, and I can kind of fill in the gaps of what's going on. I will finish the book, I promise y'all, and maybe we'll come back maybe on an Instagram post and give y'all an update on our feelings, but we're going to give you our current feelings right now.
Current feelings, yes.
All right, now to our next segment where Jasmine flourishes and thrives. She's going to synopsisize A Girl Like That by Tanaz Bhathena, which she has partially read.
Thank you for that. I'm gonna just be honest with y'all. It's almost gone, sis. I still got
that slurp. I can't.
Okay. So I'm gonna just tell y'all right now. I'm gonna just read the synopsis from the book from Amazon because I don't feel like I am allowed to give a true synopsis since I did not finish the book. So it says 16-year-old Zareen Wadia is many things: a bright, vivacious student, an orphan, a risk taker. She's also the kind of girl that parents warn their kids to stay away from, a troublemaker whose many romances are the subject of endless gossip at school. So how is it that 18-year-old Porus Dumazia has only ever had eyes for her? And how did Zareen and Porus end up dead in a car together, crash on the side of the highway in Saudi Arabia? When the religious police arrive on the scene, everything everyone thought they knew about Zareen is questioned. And as her story is pieced together, told from multiple perspectives, it becomes clear that she was far more than just a girl like that. So it's about this girl. She, is the talk of the school, and there's this boy who like her, and then they die, and that's the book. That's it.
Thank you, Jazz, for that synopsis. You know what? This is so bad. I don't even have a notes in here for A Girl Like That. Usually I I don't even have notes.
Wow. Well, off the design.
I'm trash.
What a way to do a season finale. If there's any other
Right?
ways to do it, I feel like this is it.
This is so lackluster. Anywho, on to our next segment.
Anyways,
What's our next segment? Oh, we are going to give our initial reactions,
reactions.
just how we feel off of reading books, how certain things like trigger emotions in us. So yeah, here we go. I guess I'll go first since I picked this book. My initial reactions were when I first started reading this book. The first, the prologue, I liked it. It intrigued me. It grabbed me, brought me in. Then as I kept reading, like I told Jess today, this felt like a history lesson or more like a biography. And I guess it's just because, like Jazz said, the times that we're living in with this pandemic and what's going on with social injustice, what's going on the political scene, it's just a lot of heavy shit going on in general. And then personally, there's heavy shit that I'm dealing with. So I'm just like, I don't want to read heavy shit.
Right.
Unless it's entertaining. And for me, it wasn't entertaining. Like I read The Hate You Give while on this pandemic, but it was actually like entertaining. It felt like real life and it provided a fullness of the characters where it's like they're dealing with stuff, but they also have to live their lives. This is just so focused on like the negative, everything. It just feels so depressing.
Yeah.
And there are some like quotes and stuff that I highlighted that kind of like stood out to me because they talk about different it kind of touches on different heavy topics, but just like my initial reactions were like Zarin is not really as bad as people make her out to be. Like she's actually a good legit person. She just doesn't give a F about what people think or say about her. Her uncle and her aunt are trash. Her uncle is less trash, but he's trash because he lets her aunt treat her like trash. And the men or the boys in this novel should all be in jail. Okay,
all of them.
They're all rapists. All
of them. All of them. Every last single one of them.
Yes. Except for Porus.
Porus is the only one that was good, but the rest of them,
trash.
Girl. Wait, is it my turn for reactions or is it still your turn?
Yeah, good. I'm done. Yeah, that's all I got.
I actually wrote a couple of reactions and then I just thought of one in my head. So hold on, let me go to my reactions note. Okay. Had to scroll. Okay, so I really struggled, like we talked about, to finish the book, and I didn't really finish the book. So there's that. I had written that I wish that the book had provided definitions or some like cultural meanings to better understand some of the dialogue and references. But then it come to find out there's actually a glossary at the end of the novel. But even still, even though I didn't finish the novel, it still doesn't help me being at the end of the book because I've already finished it and I've already gone through it, not knowing what some of those words meant. So I kind of wish it would have been different. Like when we read Crazy Rich Asians and how those words were hyperlinked a little bit, I would have really appreciated that. And then also some of the characters read as really American. And I don't know if that's because of how the narrators were reading in the audiobook for me, but their inflection and stuff was just really, really just American. Like, they sound like American teenagers, not necessarily teenagers in Saudi Arabia or in India. And I was like, this is interesting to me. And then the other thing that I just thought of, I'm going to wait until we get into the topic situation. Okay. And then I'll talk about it there. Okay. But those are my reactions.
Boom, there you have it. That's how we feel.
I do agree with your reactions about her auntie being trash. Her auntie was her auntie, I think her auntie was just jealous of her mama and she just took all that out on her.
Yeah. It's just I can't. Woo! So before we get talking about what her auntie did, we're gonna go to our next segment, which is major scenes and topics.
Yeah.
I think, since I recently read this part, a major scene for me was when she went out with Farhan on their third date and he slipped her basically the date rape drug.
Yeah.
And it might tell us as the book goes on in that last 20% that I need to read, but I'm not sure, but it seems like I don't know if he actually raped her, but he was on the road to raping her. From what I've read, it doesn't fully tell you that he did. And I just can't believe like he's buying this from people in school that he's with. Like, and this is not the first time he's done that he's bought a drug to sedate a date. Um, and I don't know, this culture is problematic. And I feel like the author is just speaking from a place of experience and speaking from a place of truth because this is her cultural background. So a lot of people think, well, I was reading this, I was thinking that a lot of people think that in Saudi Arabia and in these like Middle Eastern, Indian countries and cultures, and especially those who are Muslim and of these Hindu religion and stuff like that, where they have to wear like the hijab and all the other body covering garments. They think these countries are so like, uh, what's the word? Adverse to sexual things. When in all actuality, from what the book was saying, how the book read is that they are so they're kept away from sexual things so much that the men are like, and the women are like hypersexual and so curious and over sexual, and then the men have to like they have to take it from the women in order to like get what they want. Because there was a scene where like another scene where like Abdullah was looking at his sister, kind of like, "Ooh, girl, what that mouth do?" or something. I was like, "Is this incest we have here? Like, what is going on?" And there was another scene where Farhan like saw Zareen's wrist and was like, I wonder if it's as pale, if her the rest of her body that's covered up is as pale. And I'm like, bruh, like,
Yeah.
oh my God, like this is out of
See,
control.
this is what happens when you don't let your children listen to the WAP song. They need to learn about sexuality. No, in all seriousness, I think that which is really interesting parallels, but like, because right now a lot of people are writing think pieces about, WAP and how it's degrading to women and how it's not appropriate and all these other things. But on the flip side, I think a problem is that a lot of people are so closeted or
Mhm.
sheltered from sexuality that you have situations where when they do express their sexuality, it is really aggressive in an aggressive form, and it's not necessarily in a very safe manner, healthy for themselves or their partner. Where I think if you have a healthy understanding of sexuality and what sex actually is, which is honestly it's a physical act and of pleasure, I
It's very
think it
fun.
makes very fun. It makes it easier for people to understand and to do things safely and honestly and with themselves and with their partner. So I was thinking about that earlier about like that kind of juxtaposition about how people are saying, "Oh, you can't be overly sexual," and I'm like, mm,
Like
actually,
we're sexual beings.
we're sexual beings. We're supposed to do that. We're supposed to.
Mhm.
And I think that's also the thing that was for Zareen was like she was seen as this hypersexual person, where in actuality that's just not who she was.
Right.
It was just there was a lot of pygmies in the book, kind of, but not really. But also the guys were just really trash too.
Mhm.
And this idea of like you can drug someone, which also kind of goes into something because let's talk about. I know I keep talking about WAP. This last thing. So people are mad at WAP, right? Because Cardi B and Megan out here talking about some bottom feeders and get your mop in your bucket, right? But when Rick Ross was talking about putting Molly's in her champagne, she ain't even know it. And he took her home and enjoyed that. She ain't even know it. Ain't nobody say nothing to that. So Rick Ross out here talking about date rape essentially, but ain't nobody mad at Rick Ross. Ain't nobody raising think pieces against Rick Ross.
Huh?
But
Okay.
Rick
Mm.
Ross out here doing verses and shit with his shirt off. So he won't
Oh no, he
cancel.
didn't. He confident because he lost weight. He confident. Mm.
Debatable on the weight loss, but
He gained
I'm
it
just
back.
saying. I'm just saying. It's just the double standard is prevalent in all areas, and it's really talked about here in this novel as it relates to sexuality. And I just think that if the cultures, not just because it's not just Islamic, Hindu, Indian, it's all cultures. To be completely honest, American, Christian, if cultures were more understanding and had more honest conversations about sexuality, I think we'd be in a much better place. I think we
Mhm.
probably have less rape and things happening if people
Right.
are honest about their sexuality and their kinks and things that they're interested in. But everything's so taboo and nobody can talk about things that
Mhm.
people turn crazy and they become harmful to others to
Right.
get their rocks off. And that's not cool.
Exactly. My husband just told me that when we move, he wants to buy me a stripper outfit so we can have some role play.
Girl,
So
I got me some ideas for my role play. I got like a whole got a whole scenario in my head that I don't have the house layout to make it happen like I want to. But that's a
Mhm.
conversation for another
I
day.
know. Yes, offline, offline.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
Another thing I'm going to mention in lines to like sexual things and sex is they have religious police. Like, legit, a guy and a girl cannot be together unless they are like related, or I feel like they need to have written permission to be around each other. Like, they go on dates like in their cars, and they go to this like warehouse and try to like sneak away from the religious police, because if they're caught together, like, they're saying like they can get lashes
Mhm.
and be thrown into jail and stuff. And I was just like, this is too much. And I think that just goes back to Jazz saying that like there needs to be open and honest discussions about sex and sexuality, so that we don't have people growing up trying to hide things and then forcing themselves upon people.
Right. And even like the religious police, that was something that was different to me because what? That's not I already got to deal with the regular popo. You want me to deal with the religious popo too? That's too many popos for me to have to deal with. And it was interesting
Right.
because in the beginning of the novel, which the book, from the synopsis to end, you know that they get into an accident. So when the religious police show up and they see this boy and a girl in the car, they're like, "Are they brother and sister? Why are they in this car together? Like, what was going on here?" And I feel like that's just unnecessary. But I don't
Yeah.
know. I think this is just a cultural thing that I just don't understand that I will need to learn more of and have to
Hmm.
do a little bit of research. And I think that's why you pointed out that it was kind of like a history novel or kind of like some biography, because there were just so many cultural things that I just personally didn't understand. Like, what's a
Right.
Parsi? Why can you only date certain people? It was just, it was confusing to me just because I simply don't understand
Right.
that side of the world and their cultures.
Right. I think another thing Jazz mentioned was her aunt, and the fact that her aunt was abusive, like having bruises on her body.
Super
I think she
abusive.
burnt. Did she burn her with cigarettes or burn her with something
I think she burned her with cigarettes. It was cigarettes.
before?
She was
And
burning
then
her.
her aunt, like,
She cut her hair, burned her clothes, took her clothes, made her wear boys' clothes.
right, her aunt tried to kill her when she was a baby.
Hmm.
Like, just a, and I think after, or maybe it was when she was a baby, or like after she got her, after Zaren's mom died. But I'm like, bruh, it's just her aunt is just so trash. And it's not like, and it's not coming from a caring place either. I think Jazz mentioned it's coming from like a place of jealousy, which,
Hmm.
I don't fully understand. I don't even know if they fleshed that out in the story. Like, it'll be like Zaren didn't come home one day, when she got raped, she came home late, and her aunt's main concern, instead of figuring out, is she okay? Like, her clothes were ripped and she just wasn't herself. Her aunt's first thing, where was she? Who was she with? Like, why don't you care about her health and her mental state and her physical state? Her first thing was like, what were you doing? I think from the standpoint of this culture, and people from this culture, it's all about your reputation and respect, and not bringing shame upon your family. And
Hmm.
that was her aunt's main concern, is that you're bringing shame upon the family, which is terrible, a terrible way to think.
It's terrible. And I mean, and it stunts you from your growth, and it causes you to, for her at least, for Zareen, was to kind of air quotes become a rebel and
Yeah.
kind of um lash out. I was kind of call it backlash, but lash out against the authority in her life. But her way of lashing out was smoking cigarettes. And I just feel like her aunt was
Yeah.
trash. Her uncle was
Hmm.
garbage too. And
Hmm.
the girl just didn't know, like, and when she was talking about how she feels like she's not capable of love, she just didn't know what love looked like. She never had a place where she felt safe and actually cared
Right.
for. So she was trying to find it in these little boys who themselves didn't know what they were doing because they out here drugging people. So it was just a terrible cycle that I just feel bad for her because she didn't really have a chance.
Right.
Except with Porus, but
But she
she
didn't
can't
know
talk
what
to
real love looked like,
she didn't know
so
what real love
she,
looked like. She couldn't understand why he
yeah.
liked her. He don't really
Yeah.
like me. He just wants what all the other boys want. And I was like,
Right.
but sis.
Right. She was rejecting that. And I was like, girl, he's the only real one that you got around. And I think her
Right.
aunt was also using her, keeping her around. Cause I think I remember something in the beginning that said like her dad left her some money, and like she couldn't get it until she turned 18. And then that her aunt and her uncle were like the executors of it or whatever. So now
Yep.
that when she died, now they come up on a check.
Right. When they were told her she couldn't have a cat and because who was gonna pay for it? And she was like, just use some of my money. And they're like, no, you can't use your money. Like, y'all just want to pocket her money. That's all. Y'all just want to
Mhm.
use sis's money. And y'all were
Yeah.
rude to her, you were mean to her, and I didn't appreciate it one bit.
Yeah. After I hate that she had to die in the novel because I would love for her to like have come of age and get that money and be out. Like, and she said
Right.
that was the only thing, well, not the only thing, but that's one of the things she dreamed of is like growing up and getting out of her uncle and her uncle and aunt's house,
Mm,
which is sad.
yeah. I kind of was, as I was reading the novel, I was like, ooh, maybe it won't end this way. I won't tell you how it really ends. Well, you know how it ends. But I was like, maybe it won't end this way. Maybe it's just a dream and
Mhm.
maybe, but
Yeah, because they spent a lot of time on that prologue with them floating above their bodies and all
right.
that stuff. So, yeah. Mm. I'll have to read the last
Yeah.
20% and find out.
You you got it, sis. At least this time you don't have a deadline. You can read it at your leisure.
But then I got to start on season 4. So,
You got
catch
a month.
22. Yeah. But you have any, that's all I mean, that's all I'm going to talk about right now. You got any
Let's
major scenes or topics you want to bring up?
The only other topic like we've already talked about it. I put abuse,
Mhm.
sexual, physical, verbal, and domestic. That got that sexual abuse,
Yeah.
and then also have bullying because there were children and students at the school who were bullying her based on
Hmm.
rumors that were being spread around the school that were not accurate rumors
Right.
about her. So
And
bullying
then,
is bad.
Abdullah's
The
sister had a
sister.
whole Tumblr that she was
Mm-hmm.
running off of an alien. Yes, that's our major scenes and topics. Now, on to the next segment. Look at us breezing right through this. We don't have time to play no games.
Zero.
We don't have any sips, so oh my god, it's time to rate the book.
What? Oh.
And I still have wine left. I'm sipping slow. Proud of
Me
myself.
too.
So y'all know our rating scale. We have 1, which is sober. Y'all know how it is to be sober at a party. Then
Whack.
you have buzz, which you have a couple drinks, but you got to be the designated driver, so you need time to drink and sober up. So okay,
Yeah, pump
there
and
we are.
dump.
Right. Which is a myth. Then you have tipsy, which means I ain't driving nobody home, sis, because I'm feeling
I'm feeling
good.
good. I'm enjoying it.
Yes. And then you have lit, which means you might have to crash on your friend's couch on Jiho weekend because you're not gonna make it home. So
You're not gonna make it at all.
been there before.
Been there,
And
done that. We'll do it again.
I'm not ashamed. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Been there,
So now
done that. Bought a shirt, wear it every day.
so that's what we're about to do. Rate that book based on that scale. So based on the approximately 80% of the book that I've read to this day.
This day. To this day. To this day.
I'm gonna give it a buzz.
Okay.
And what is saving it from a sober, because I was about to give it a sober. I don't even know if I rated a book a sober before, but I was about to give it the Star Touch Queen.
And also that mystery novel that we read. I think that was the sober.
You picked that. So what is saving it from being a sober is the fact that the beginning, I think the beginning was very intriguing. And then just some moments within there, just there's little gems tucked inside of the novel, which I can appreciate. But right now it's a buzz. If I need to retract that statement and re-rate this book, I will. But yeah, that's my rating. Go ahead. Your turn.
So
Whenever Jazz prefaces something with, I don't think it's gonna be good.
I mean, let's face it, sis, it's not gonna be higher than a buzz. So I'm gonna give it a buzz. Similar to you, it could get a sober. But I feel like I can't give it a sober because I didn't finish it. Now, right now, it's a buzz. I could finish the book and it could become a sober. But right now, I have high hopes for it the way that it finished. Since I finished I read the ending and I saw how that, how it kind of culminated. But I think what I'm struggling with is that it's Not only was I not motivated to read the book just because of life, but also trying to read the book and it's so heavy. It's really kind of discouraging to
Mhm.
continue reading the story a little bit because, like, I just don't like seeing these reading stories necessarily sometimes where the main character is being so brutalized in so many ways. And then to know that there may not be a happy ending for the character at the end is really also discouraging. At least
Yeah.
sometimes you read stories like what was that book, 32 Candles. Her story was trash. She had a really hard upbringing, but it ended
Mhm.
with a really nice pretty bow on the end, and so I was okay
Mhm.
with her story being trash because she was able to come out of it really nice on the end. She has some
Mhm.
scars and some bruising, but she was able to come through. And for this story with Zareen, and I'm like, sis, I don't even know if you ever get your redemption. It's hard for me to read. And
Yeah.
I think that's why I'm giving it a buzz, just purely based on the fact that it's just been difficult to feel happy about the book. I like to
Yeah.
read things that make me feel happy, and this book has not made me feel happy.
Mhm.
Now, at the same time, the book has made me, ask some questions about culturally abuse and those types of things, but I don't want to think about those things right now. I want to have
Yeah.
superficial and very frivolous thoughts right now because the world is too dark and I don't want to think and read dark stuff. I want to be supercalifragilisticexpialidocious and I can't because this book will not allow me to be.
Yeah.
So it's a buzz for me.
Well, there you have it. This has been rated a buzz by both Black Girl Lit girls.
Oh, black girl lit girls. Look at those black girl lit girls. Are you a black
But
girl lit girl?
are you? If you aren't, you should purchase some of our merch. Go to www.thisisblackgirllit.com. You can purchase a gray t-shirt, a Shiraz colored crop top, or
Mm.
a mint, navy, or purple Black Girl Lit wine tumbler with
Which
a
I
straw.
with the straw, which I am using right now currently,
Mm-hmm.
and it is absolutely amazing.
And everything is $25. If you see
$25.
me on the streets, I do have merch in my trunk, and I will sell it out my trunk.
She like she selling out the trunk. Out the trunk, like she got that mixtape. When a mixtape, get those mixtapes, cuz.
All right, exactly. But I don't have anything else to say to y'all. This is our season 3 finale. I'm excited that we made it to 3 seasons because I was throwing shade at my husband because he had a podcast with his best friend. And they ain't recorded anything in a few years, and we going strong with
Going
Black Girl
strong.
Lit.
Okay. Oh, before we go, shout out to Mocha Chicks Read for the love that they've been giving us. They are hosting a giveaway because they had 4,000 followers on Instagram, and as one of the requirements to be entered in the giveaway, you have to follow us. And I appreciate the support because that has driven some traffic to our page. Also, we might have a potential collab coming soon for next season. So be on the lookout for that. So shout out to those girls, that girl. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not sure if it's one girl or two girls. I should probably know that. And I feel terrible for not knowing, but that's just full disclosure and that's on period. But just saying, shout out to them using different pronouns there for the support and the love. And I look forward to working with y'all. Whatever.
Yes, thank you, Mocha Girls Read. Follow them on Instagram. Y'all, this is oh my god, I might shed a little tear. It's the end of season 3. So we have
as we go on, we remember all the times we had together. That's all I know.
I was gonna say we set a date for season 4 to come out, but I'm not gonna announce it because it might change, and I don't want to hold us to anything.
I don't want to hold you, sis.
Right, because life, and I'm looking at these dates, and yeah,
debatable,
right,
adjustable.
But we won't leave y'all hanging. We'll make sure that you have go look back and listen to our old content. But season 4 is going to be coming up soon. We plan on taking a month or so off of reading for the podcast. But our first book that we plan on reading is The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. So, if you use Libby, we'll give you some time to get that book and read it because it's very popular right now. So go ahead and get that book. I've started reading it a little bit. And then that is Jasmine's pick, by the way. And then the second book for season 4 will be A Song of Wraiths and Ruin by Rosanna A. Brown. And that is my pick. It's a fantasy novel. I'm excited.
Is it YA?
I don't know, but it's fantasy. And it probably is YA. You don't see a lot of adult fantasy. But yeah, Jazz is going to read it and she's going to love it. But those are our first 2 books. And once we know the official launch date of season 4, you won't find out unless you're following us on Instagram at BlackGirlLit_. So, and I'm sure Jazz will make a nice fancy post for that. So follow us there to see when season 4 will be dropping.
Mm-hmm.
Jazz, you have anything for the good of the order?
I have nothing for the good of the order except to say thank you so much for tuning in this evening and watching with us. We have greatly appreciated it. We hope that you join us again next season for another fun and crazy season of Black Girl Lit, the podcast. Don't ask me why I'm speaking in this accent, but I am, so you will enjoy it and you will deal with it. Yeah.
I just got my wine glass stuck on my face because I was being a fool. But I think I started you talking that accent because of my last inflection, but it's okay. I don't want to sign off because it's just the end. It's so crazy. But we have some stuff coming down the pipeline, some new things. Well, I don't even know if we have new things, but I'm sure when we have our next production meeting, there will be new things. So just be on the lookout. And just again, like Jazz said, I'm going to reiterate, thank you so much for listening to us. Make sure you share our podcast, share it with your friends, your mama, your sister, your cousin, your dog. We're on multiple platforms, so check us out.
Multiple platforms, all the platforms.
And last thing I'll say, as always, stay Black Girl Lit.
Stay Black Girl Lit in them streets.
Bye, y'all. Why is Jazz so aggressive? That's it for today's show. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. Leave us a 5-star rating and a top-notch review to get us to the top review page on iTunes. And be sure to follow us and listen on SoundCloud.